Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pacelli Coaches Show presented by the Beck Center. We are live here at the Beck Center, and on the Pacelli Coaches Show this evening, we've got the girls' tennis coach for Pacelli, Coach Christy Bates. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Well, before we get into everything, because I know you just had a tennis match and you get ready for region tournament play, just tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been at Pacelli? How long you've been the tennis coach for the girls team, and what are some of the things that the team has been working on this season?
Well, I've been at Pacelli teaching pre-K4 for 18 years. I've been doing the elementary middle school tennis through Corda for over 15 years. And I began being the head coach of both the boys and the girls in 2018 because my son was on the team and he didn't have a coach.
Right.
And then I continued because I've got lots and lots of players that have been through elementary tennis with me, middle school tennis with me. And so I just continued, even though my son has graduated.
All right. So you have middle school, you have varsity. Talk about like the amount of tennis players you have on the girls team as well as the boys team.
Okay. The girls team has 9 on the varsity. We do have a JV. I'm not sure of that number because we also have a JV coach. That's one of the other great things that's happened within the last few years is thankfully I am not coaching everybody. We have added some coaching staff with Miss Amanda Reynolds. She teaches in the middle school and she is wonderful. She's helping with the boys and she's also our manager. So she does a lot of the back in things like scheduling the buses, scheduling matches, things like that. And we also have Laura Marvitz, who is a community coach that has been brought on to coach the boys.
And you also brought 2 tennis players along with you who we will hear from them later on in the show. We've got Kendall Issacs and Abby Hayes. But Coach, just talk about the regular season. It's wrapping up. You got region tournament coming up. Just talk about what that's going to be like in the GIAA and a preview of what's to come, because in the GIAA, you got 2 different state tournaments. You got the team tournament and you got the individual tournament, but you got to get through region play. And of course, Brookstone, Calvary right here in Columbus. Talk about where you hold your tennis matches here in Columbus and talk about where it's going to be for the region tournament.
So most of our matches locally are at Cooper Creek. And then when we play Brookstone, because they have a beautiful facility with 10 hard courts, we play at Brookstone, which we just left Brookstone today. We jumped off the courts and came over here for this interview. And for the season, we've had to play several out-of-town matches. We've gone to Strong Rock. We've gone to Westfield.
Westfield, yes.
And then we played Calvary at home and Brookstone at home. So those were the 4 other region tournament plays that we've had.
Now, when it comes to prepare for a tennis season, obviously you have some tennis players that do play multiple sports, like Kendall Issacs. I mean, she is on the flag football team, but you also you got some players that they play tennis year round. But what goes into the conditioning and just getting prepared for tennis matches? Like, what's a typical practice like? Are you working on your serves? You working on your backhand, or like 2 players like playing a simulated match? Like, what are some of the things you're working on?
There's all of that involved. There's the conditioning. There's also working on your strokes, working on where you're putting the strokes across the court, doing match play. Because at the end of the day, you can be a beautiful player hitting against a ball machine, but if you don't know how to play a match and conditioned for that mentally and physically, then it's just a whole nother ballgame.
Now, in a typical match, is it singles and doubles?
So for our team, we play 3 singles, both boys and girls. We have different categories. So the boys have their own category and the girls have their own, but they play 3 singles and 2 lines of doubles. So we need 7 girls for every match and 7 boys for every match.
And how many sets do you play in a match?
You play 2 out of 3, the first to 6. You have to win by 2. If you get to 6 all, you do a tiebreaker. And then if one team wins the first set and the other team wins the second set, you do a 10-point tiebreaker. And that's the end of the match.
So, Coach, obviously you got into coaching tennis because of your love for tennis, which is a sport that it was, I'll be honest, it was huge in the 90s. I remember as a kid
I think
watching.
you're dating me.
No, I remember Roger Federer, Pete Sampras.
Yes.
Yeah, and then later in the 2000s with Venus and Serena. I know that they're still relevant. I mean, Coco Gauff is a very well-known American tennis player. But just talk about, like, I know when you're coaching tennis and you're playing tennis, you're a fan of tennis. So when the Australian Open happens, it's like you're in front of the TV watching all the matches, and then we got the French Open coming up, and then Wimbledon, and of course the U.S. Open. Just talk about, like, what's that like? When you get ready to see one of the Grand Slams, and just being a fan of tennis. I mean, just talk about just that passion and love for tennis, just as a fan in general.
A true fan of tennis, when they have any of those tournaments, because of when they play, comes to work really tired the next day. Because you're watching all through the night. So you want to make sure you don't hear the score until you get to see the match. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch all those tournaments and kind of live through those players, because of course we're not playing at that level. But you see the same issues that we have, that our high school students have, that mental strength, that conditioning, being able to change up your game based on who you play, all of that. And that happens in the pros as well as down in the lower levels.
And tennis matches can go as long as it takes. What was the most exciting high school tennis match you ever saw, where it was a back and forth, it went straight to 3 sets, and it was probably, you had to win by 2, so it was probably like maybe a 12-10 score, and they just kept volleying back and forth. Did you ever see a tennis match like that went on for hours?
I've seen so many that I can't really tell you that I have a favorite, but my motto and what I like to tell my girls and when I coach the boys is, at the end of the day, ESPN is not out here watching. It's the person that gets the ball back one more time in the court is going to win the point. So whatever you got to do to win that point, it doesn't matter if it's your best shot. It might be your best shot, but the mentality is you've got to get that ball over one more time in the court.
All right, Coach, and my final question to you is, what makes Pacelli special, a place to coach these young girls that want to play tennis and then want to play at the highest level in high school and being that competitive? Because a lot of these girls, they grew up playing tennis. They've gone to tennis camps. We talked off the air about some of the clinics you guys hosted. Just talk about just Pacelli in general, just being a special place to offer tennis here as a sport.
Well, Pacelli in general is special to me because I've been here so long, and I've taught pre-K4, and I've seen kids that are now graduating from college that I taught in pre-K4 or played for me. I also had both of my children. One graduated in 2018, one in 2020, and they spent their whole school career here. And so I loved watching them grow in faith. I loved watching them grow academically, and they had tons of sports that they were able to participate in. And you don't always get that at every school that you go to. Sometimes there's just too many. And I think being a smaller school and being able to play multiple sports is wonderful.
All right, Coach, before we do talk to your players, I do want you to mention who the boys coach is and how many players are on the varsity for the boys.
So the boys, I believe they have 10 on their varsity. The boys coaches are Amanda Reynolds. She's a middle school teacher at our school. And then we brought in a community coach. Her name's Laura Marvitz. She's pretty special too. She actually won a gold medal in the Deaf Olympics in tennis. So nice. She's been a great asset. The boys absolutely love her. And she's just picked up our program tremendously.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck in the region tournament, and we're pulling for you. Hopefully you guys can make it to state as the team and the individual tennis tournament separate. It's going to be the individual April 21st and 22nd. The team tennis tournament is going to be April 28th and 29th. And hopefully we can see Pacelli there at the state championship.
Thank you.
All right. That is the tennis coach, Coach Christy Bates. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the tennis players. We're going to start with Kendall Issacs and then Abby Hayes as you watch the Pacelli Coaches Show presented by the Beck Center.
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC Pirates basketball and baseball and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.
And we are back here at the Pacelli Coaches Show, and we are live from the Beck Center. And I'm here with senior Kendall Issacs, if that name sounds familiar to you. We live stream several of her flag football games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. She is the quarterback of the championship flag football team. Congratulations. We were there for GIAA.TV. Thrift and I were calling your championship game as you won a championship for flag football. Actually, multiple championships under Coach Cochran. First of all, before we get into tennis, talk about just what it means being a multiple sport athlete at Pacelli and how flag football kind of helps you condition for tennis.
Well, it definitely helps me to stay active throughout the year, and so because tennis is only in the spring, so playing flag football in the fall allows me to stay active throughout the whole year and everything. And also, I feel like it allows me to connect with more people because I have so many different people that I play with on different teams. So it just allows me to meet new people.
Now, you go from throwing a football to swinging a racket. Is there some conditioning drills that you kind of get your arm just ready, just to make sure that, you know, your arm is in good shape, getting ready for both sports?
Not really, because for being quarterback also helps in a sense with tennis, because the serving motion I use for tennis is also the same motion I use to throw a football. So really it kind of helps with that. And then, I don't know, it's just kind of like riding a bicycle with the forehand and backhand.
All right. So you're a senior. How long have you been playing tennis?
Probably since I was 3-4 years old.
3-4 years. Wow.
Yeah, my dad is a CSC tennis coach, so I've grown up around tennis.
So you grew up around it.
Yes.
So you've been to tennis camps, clinics,
yes.
Mainly at Cooper Creek?
No, because when I was younger, my dad would have tennis camps.
And you also have the tennis courts at CSU.
Yes.
That you play at. So
yes, I do.
That is awesome.
And then I played for my school. I played for Miss Bates throughout pre-K, elementary school, middle school, and now high school. So I've been playing for Miss Bates for my whole school career too.
Now, when it comes to a tennis match, what is the strength? Something you worked on? Is it your serve? Is it your backhand? What are some things that you know that pretty strong at this, that my opponent, it's going to be hard to return this?
Probably my serve. I like my serve the best because it's very consistent. I can get it in majority of the time, and it doesn't usually break. So I like my serve a lot.
So you're probably practicing your serve ball placement, getting into the right spot where it's hard to return it. If they do, sometimes it hits the net. You get that low angle serve when they try to return it back, it ends up hitting the net because it's kind of hard to. That's the way the ball bounces in tennis. But just talk about just this season. I mean, obviously this is your final year. Are you going to play tennis in college?
No, I'm not going to play tennis. I may play for an intramural team, just for fun, but I'm not going to college for tennis and everything. But I mean, for fun, I'll definitely continue playing, just stuff like that.
So Kendall, you play in tennis. You're also a fan of tennis. Have you watched the Australian Open and the French Open's coming up and the Wimbledon?
Yes, I do watch those tournaments. I like watching Wimbledon the best because I just think it's the grass courts, and I also like that they wear they all look pretty uniform because they're all wearing all white and everything. It just looks very nice, and I don't know. I just like watching it the best.
And they also get a plate as their trophy.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. And different surfaces. You have the hard surface. You got the clay at the French Open. You got the grass. Is there a particular surface you enjoy playing on?
Hard court's definitely the best because on like clay, the ball can kind of bounce weirdly, and then you kind of slide more on the clay and everything. And I've never played on grass, so I only have clay and hard courts to go off of.
Now, I know that sometimes weather can really have an effect on tennis courts. Nobody wants to play after it just rained and you got a wet tennis court. What are some places where you practice tennis? Like, obviously the Beck Center's got some nice indoor facilities here, but just talk about like, what do you do to kind of keep going as far as practice? Obviously, because Georgia, we get bad weather all the time, and you got to just continue practicing, and sometimes you got to practice indoors.
Well, I mean, I can always go to the CSU gym and just kind of practice footwork. There's not much you can do. You can always, when I was younger, I used to hit against the wall in there to continue, like, to help me with that. But it's mainly just like if it rains, it's like a lot to do with practicing your footwork, keeping with footwork and everything. And you can do that anywhere.
And I do want to talk about some of the sports that are similar to tennis that you also have you considered like playing them just to get you prepared for tennis, like racquetball, badminton, or even pickleball? Is that a possibility just to get you?
Yeah,
I know it's a different sport, but
I mean, it could be. I mean, pickleball is like a good way to like practice volleys more, like get quicker hands.
Yeah,
and
hand-eye
like
coordination. Yeah.
So I mean, it could be.
All right, Kendall. Well, thank you so much for being on the Pacelli Coaches Show. Good luck in the region tournament. I can't believe the regular season's already over.
I know, it's a quick season.
Yeah, but we're pulling for you. And good luck in the region tournament. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in the state in the individual championships for the GIAA.
Thank you.
All right, that is senior tennis player Kendall Issacs. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to have sophomore Abby Hayes here on the Pacelli Coaches Show, presented by the Beck Center.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible to be able to cover these 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy, and Gordy Eye Care for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Welcome back to the Pacelli Coaches Show. We are live here from the Beck Center. We want to thank Roger Beck just for giving us this opportunity to be at the Beck Center, the Center for Academic and Athletic Excellence. And thank you to Roger Beck. So we have sophomore Abby Hayes here. And Abby, thank you for joining us here on the Pacelli Coaches Show.
You're welcome.
First of all, just had a match over at Brookstone. How did you do? And what have you getting prepared for yourself for this upcoming region tournament and just getting prepared as the season's starting to wind down?
So I prepare all year for my tennis. I only play tennis, so I'm preparing all year. I coach tennis, so that's good. And then at Brookstone, me and Kendall Issacs just played doubles and we won.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how long have you been playing tennis?
I've been playing since I was 7 or 8, so about 8-9 years. I started because my brother played tennis. So.
And what's your most favorite thing about tennis?
I like playing with friends. Playing with friends and having fun out there is really nice to do, and it's not competitive, so you can just go out there and hit back and forth and not feel pressured to win or anything.
And really, the one thing about tennis, and I know eventually we will be live streaming a tennis match on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I think that, I know as he's Thrift Behringer here giving me that, like, are you serious? Are you really breaking that on the Pacelli Coaches Show? No, I think it's fascinating when you have an exciting tennis match where the volley just keeps going back and forth. And You're just fighting for every single point. I mean, really, what's going through your mind when you're actually you're playing a tough opponent, and it could go either way, and you're trading points, and like they're winning a set, you're winning a set. You ever had a match like that where it was just a back and forth, just long, drawn out match, and it came down to the end?
Yeah, I had one this season. We had a 2.5-hour match, which was not fun, but you always just have to think about the next point. Even if you lost the one before, you just have to keep on going and forget about all the other points. You could have lost the first set. You still have a chance to come back and win, so you just have to think about the next point and forget about anything else that happened.
All right, so I have to ask you, because I haven't watched tennis in a very, very long time, so I don't know any of the new tennis players. So I know Serena and Venus, obviously, but who is your favorite tennis player?
Mine's the classic Serena Williams, because she's just the GOAT.
She's got swag too. I mean, and I'm going to throw it to men's tennis. Mm-hmm. So I like my tennis player that gets aggressive on the court, is outspoken, and will speak his mind. I'm talking about John McEnroe from the 1980s. He would throw a temper tantrum. Yeah. He would toss his racket. He would say to the judge, "You cannot be serious." But the thing is, your coach was telling us that it's when you have a tennis match at the high school level, it's in the honor system. There are no judges. Yeah. How frustrating is that, especially when it's a close call?
It's frustrating, but there's nothing you can do because it is their call, anything on their side of the court. And also, it could have looked into you, but it could have been, even if it's a hair out, it's still out. So you kind of just have to trust, even if they are blatantly in and they're out, there's nothing you can do. So you just got to go to the next point and forget about it.
Okay, so if it's on your side, you make the call.
Yes. Anything on your side, you call. They can argue all they want, but unless there's somebody there to actually.
Well, you have the best angle because it was on your side. Yeah. Just talk about obviously you play tennis all year, just the conditioning, getting ready for a tennis match. What are some of the practices like?
So I have a brother who plays tennis, so my practices a lot of the times are just with my brother because he's like my built-in partner to play tennis. But I also take from a ex-CSU tennis coach, so I have a lot of one-on-one practices, and in the summer we do a lot of the group practices. So it's a lot of just hitting back and forth people. It's just you do the same thing over and over and over again. So you just get into the groove of playing.
So in Columbus, we've already talked about Cooper Creek Park. We talked about the tennis courts at CSU. Is there any other places in Columbus that are public tennis courts that you've practiced at?
I have tennis courts in the front of my neighborhood. So we have 2 courts in the front of my neighborhood. So those are accessible for me to just go up there anytime I want and do serves because I can do that by myself.
Outstanding. Well, I tell you what, I'm excited. I know the regular season wrapping up for you guys. I know you got the region tournament coming up, but good luck. And I know that we're hoping to see you guys in the state and the individual championship. April 21st, 22nd, that's going to be the individual. And then April 28th and 29th for the team championship. So good luck, Abby. And thank you for joining us here on the Pacelli Coaches Show.
No problem.
All right, that is tennis player Abby Hayes. Thank you so much for everybody here on the Pacelli Coaches Show. Don't forget, we got another exciting Pacelli Coaches Show coming for you in the next couple of weeks. All right, have a great rest of your night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Are you looking for a great deal on a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC full-size truck? Check them out. Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. Take your choice. A brand new 2024 Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks, discounted up to $15,000 off, or 0% financing. Plus, no payments till springtime. Here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, get ready to smile.